Hello, hello, it's James Todd from Round 8 Boxing. Today with the man himself, Troy Williamson. How are we?
Yes, I'm good, James. Yourself?
I'm not too bad, not too bad.
Good,
So,
good.
getting straight into it. So far in your career, you've had some great fights with great fighters, and you've also sparred some great fighters like Eubank Jr. So, what was your experience like with him?
It was a good experience just being around other trainers and seeing how they train, and seeing obviously how other lads train. But just being in the ring with them, sparring, um, experience, it was just like another spar to me. Like I was on the same on the same level, giving as good as I got. So yeah, it was good.
100%. What would you say surprised you most about his style or his approach in sparring?
He's very patient. He doesn't really waste any shots. He's a thinking type of boxer. Obviously, he's not like how he was in his early days where he comes out and he rattles off 40 punches. But he was doing that in spells, but he's not as eager. He's not as eager as that. Now he's more of a thinking fighter.
Would you say there's any specific moment in sparring that stood out to you?
Uh, nah, not really. No,
No. So
his
from
fitness. He's very fit and he's very tough.
from the perspective, what's his greatest strength as a fighter? Would you say
What's his favorite?
like greatest
What's his
strength
favorite?
from his?
What's his greatest strength? He's fit. He's tough. He throws a good body shot. He's got a good jab as well.
Yeah,
He has got a good jab.
a very technical fighter. Um, is there any aspect of his game you think has evolved over time?
Yeah, I think he thinks more. He tries to box a lot more. He's a lot different to obviously how I expected it to go to spar. When I watched him on TV, when I went actually sparred him, he's like I keep saying, he's a thinking fighter. So he's patient and he's looking for his openings. Where when you see him on TV, he looks reckless. To be honest, but yeah, he was a good sparring, very good sparring.
How would you say he's different to other people that you've sparred before?
Um, he's just a true professional. He just lives and breathes boxing. I
Mm.
think.
So would you say it's his mindset that's different?
Yeah, mindset. I don't think he's one of these that goes out really partying. You don't really see it anyways on social media or anything. I think he just lives in the gym, goes home, chills out, back in the gym. So
Like 100%. Now, obviously, Eubank versus Ben. What a fight that is for UK boxing.
yeah, it's huge, huge for UK boxing, huge for world boxing, but especially in the UK. And now it's happening in Britain. It's massive.
100%. Now, how do you see that playing out?
Eubank, I see Eubank win, possibly a late stoppage. Um, if you asked me that question maybe a year ago or over a year ago, I'd have said Conor Benn because he was just knocking people out with, he was just putting people unconscious with one single punch, and
Mm,
just looked superhuman. To be fair, he was knocking good fighters completely out cold. And then obviously you've seen what's happened. He got an adverse finding in his drugs test, and he's
mm,
obviously failed the drugs test, come back positive. And then obviously when he come back and he obviously after that he had came back. I think was it Peter Dobson. He fought in America and he went 10 rounds and he just looked to shadow himself. He looked a completely different fighter. He still had the explosiveness, but there was just no knockout punch. There was no. He just his size looked completely different. His physique changed. Just looked a completely different fighter. So now, I'd got to favour Eubank. I don't think he's got the power to knock Eubank out. Um, he's not. He hasn't got the same size as Eubank, and who knows? Like, what's his fitness going to be like? So I just think I think Eubank will beat him, and I think it could possibly be a late stoppage.
Now, talking back to what you said about the size difference, now, how big of a role do you think that plays in this fight?
You know what? Obviously, I always used to say like size was a big factor, but I think I was massive at 154. But
Mm.
as the fights kept on, and as I kept on making 154, even though I was big, it didn't really matter because it took a lot out of me to do it. So I think it all depends on how much 160 is going to take out of Chris. If Chris can do 160 pretty comfortable, and if he hydrates comfortable, then I think it's going to be an easy night's work. Um, but if Chris is killing himself to make 160, again, it could be an interesting fight. But I'd still probably favour Chris. But it all depends on how much he's killing himself to do the weight, because I know myself, killing yourself to make weight does take it out of you, and it does drain you.
Yeah, I was about to touch on that. So, obviously, as a boxer yourself, having to cut weight, how is that experience? Do you think that's going to play a big part in this fight?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. Like I said, if he's really struggling to do the weight, it
Mm.
could be a big factor. Um, you look at me at 154. Like I always done the 12 round distance. Didn't affect me doing the 12 round distance, but the explosiveness wasn't there. I couldn't. I wasn't really putting a dent in my opponents. Um, so like you said, just if Chris is not really killing himself to do 160, I think he'll get Conor out there. But if he is killing himself to do 160, I think maybe he'll win on points. I think he'll still win either way. I think he's a better boxer and he's a better fighter. But it just all depends on if he wants to get him out there or not. Just see how he does the weight.
Now, touching back on the size difference. So, obviously, Eubank coming in with the rehydration course, but now Ben going up 2 weights. Who would you say is more at the disadvantage with this?
It all depends on how much 160 kills Chris. If I'm completely honest, um, obviously it's easy to put weight on and it's hard to take weight off. But even with Conor Benn going up to 160, I, I don't know. I just can't. Now he's not on Ped'S. Like, let's be real. He got found positive with, obviously he failed the drugs test. So for whatever reason, that was in his system. And before then, he was knocking everybody out cold, like I said. And now he's not knocking everybody out cold. So I don't think he'll be able to put a dent in Chris. Even gone up in weight, I don't think he'll be able to put a dent in him. So, but if you look at it in that way, it's easier to put weight on and it's hard to take weight off. So probably the advantage would be for Conor Benn, but I just can't see him winning.
What would you say is the so when you're cutting weight, it's not only is it physically draining, but it's mentally draining. How
Yeah,
much
mentally draining. You're not enjoying life outside of boxing, never mind in boxing, and you're training to basically lose weight. It's horrible.
was your experience with that? How was that when you were
I
losing
was
and cutting and
hard. It was very hard work. Like I say, you're not enjoying life outside of boxing, never mind in boxing. You're going to the gym, uh, fatigued, not on enough food. It's hard work. I'm glad I moved up. It's been a long time coming. I should have moved up a few fights ago, but I've eventually moved up now, so we're on a new path to 160.
exactly. And with that, would you say what's like the best strategy for cutting weight?
What is the best strategy? What do you mean?
Yes, like would you say it's doing the saunas or in your
Nah, I don't. Nah, you know what? I've never really sat in saunas to lose weight. Just watch what you eat, train hard, and just be disciplined. I had to do it for like I had to not have. I couldn't even have like a one Malteser for like eight,
Uh,
9 weeks. That's how strict it was for me to do super welterweight.
so after the fight, were you indulging in a
Oh.
few different?
Yeah, I indulged a little bit too long to be fair, but I think because I've deprived myself from having it for that long, when I got a chance to eat, I was eating.
Yeah, you gotta do
Once I
it.
started, once I started, I couldn't stop.
A little reward, of course. Now, what would you say is a must for either fighter to win this fight?
Keep a cool head. I think Connor's going there. I think he's going to go in erratic, and I think he's going to try and take Chris's head off. I think he's a hot-headed guy, and Conor Benn, and I think that'll probably play into Chris's favour because, like I said, he's patient. He's a thinking fighter, and I think if Conor does do that, it could end up devastating. But do you know what? I'm really looking forward to the fight. May the best man win. I'm a fan of both, but that's just how I see it going.
100%. And obviously, with this fight comes a big legacy with both their dads fighting. Now, what significance does this add to this fight?
What's that? Sorry.
So obviously, both their dads fighting, huge rivalry in British boxing.
Yeah.
Now, what does this add to this fight?
Oh, it's bragging rights, isn't it? No,
Mm,
obviously nobody wants to lose this fight, and never mind for the dads, for the family, just for themselves. It's massive, huge. It's never been done before, so it's history in the making.
who do you think has more pressure on them in this fight?
Probably Chris because it's at his weight class.
Mm,
Connor's coming up with weight. Chris has been there, been at a higher level, so probably Chris.
mm. And now, moving away from that, so looking ahead in your own career, what's next for you in the boxing world? Obviously, seeing your Instagram today with Tyler Denny. Um, what's going on with all that?
Do you know what it is? I keep saying it. I'm a very high risk, low reward. Like I don't bring nothing to the table at the moment. I get that. I'm coming off two losses. Um, down at super welterweight, and they all know all these British domestic fighters know that at middleweight I'll be a handful for anybody. I'll be a hard night's work for anyone. So nobody wants to jump in the ring with me because I don't bring nothing to the table. So I've just got to open my mouth. I've never done it before. I'm not that kind of person. I've always let my fist do the talking, but the only way it looks like I'm going to get a fight is to open my mouth and call these fighters out.
Mm,
There's been a lot of opponents mentioned. I've said yes to them all, and all backed away from the challenge. Nathan Heaney was one. He's took another route, and he's fighting some foreign guy. Fighting tomorrow night, he'll probably get the win, probably by stoppage because the guy that he's fighting is no good. Um, we got Aaron McKenna mentioned. He's obviously gone Liam Smith, but I understand that it's a bigger fight. He's probably getting paid more, so can't complain with that. But there's been loads and loads of names mentioned, and I've accepted them all because I'm at this stage now where if I don't accept the big fight, then who am I going to fight? Like, go back down and fight a 6 round journeyman. Like I'm past that level. People know that, and I'm an exciting fighter. I've got a fan friendly style. I sell a lot of tickets, so I put bums on seats, and it's the promoters that want to fight. Eddie wanted the McKenna. I said yes. Queensbury wanted Nathan Heaney. I said yes. Boxer apparently want Tyler Denny. I've said yes. So let's see if Tyler Denny's got the minerals. I know he's coming off a loss himself. So again, he might not want to take the fight because that'll be two back-to-back losses for him. But I'm in this sport to fight the best. Like to be the best, I think you've got to fight the best, obviously. Um. So yeah, I've just got to open my mouth and try and get a fight.
So would
That,
you say
that's basically it. It was a mouth. That was a mouthful, but that's basically it.
100%? Would you say that Tyler Denny is the main guy that you want right now?
Do you know what? I just want big fights. The Nathan Heaney fight that made sense. We're both coming off loss. We're both former British champions. Both likable guys. Both good fighters. Both big ticket sellers. That would have been one hell of a fight. Like these guys who I'm calling now, I'm not asking for an easy touch. These are very good fighters. Tyler Denny, ex-European champion. Like I'm not handpicking I'm not handpicking opponents. I want to fight the best guys in Britain. So who's next? Obviously McKenna's tied up. Nathan Heaney's tied up. Like who's next? Tyler Denny. There's a show in Birmingham, April 19th. It's a boxer show. Tyler Denny, perfect.
Is there a dream fight that you'd like to see happen in the future out of all boxing?
What, including myself or just anybody?
So including yourself, and then one which is just anybody.
Um, I just I haven't boxed for it's coming up a year now, so dream fight with me will just be anybody. I am willing to fight anybody, get in the ring and have it out with anyone. Anybody else? I would love to see Tank Davies, Tank Davis, and Shakur Stevenson. I also want to see Terence Crawford and Canelo, but I think that is going to happen. Is there anything else? That's it, really. I think.
Would you?
Tyson Fury. I'd like to see Tyson Fury and AJ again as
Yeah,
well.
that's what I was about to ask. Do you still think that's a fight people would like to see?
Oh, 1,000,000%. That is 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. Yeah.
100%. I really appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Yeah. No worries, James.